Western North Carolina is grappling with the widespread devastation from Helene. In Buncombe County alone, more than 90,000 customers are still without power right now, and at least 30 people were killed there because of flooding from Helene. That includes 2 sheriff's deputies. And today, Governor Roy Cooper will join other state leaders as well as FEMA officials in Asheville. They'll assess the storm damage and the response efforts out there. Let's go and bring in WRAL's Brett Neese. He's live at Biltmore Village in Asheville. Brett, this was one of the areas hardest hit by the flooding.
It really was, Chris. And, now as the light has come up, the sun has started to rise here on this Monday morning. We've watched as car after car is turned away here at this roadblock behind me. I'm going to step out of the way and we're going to zoom in past that roadblock because you can actually see some of the mud and debris left behind on this main road that gets into Biltmore Village. It's just unbelievable to see some of the damage, the debris throughout this entire region, not just the downtown Asheville area, but it is one of the hardest hit areas, downtown Asheville, and the River Arts District, also another section of downtown essentially wiped out by the flooding. You can see that here in this video where trees and debris are scattered everywhere as water continues to rush under bridges and wiping out so many sections of roadways. Residents have been without access to water for days now, some collecting some of the floodwater in their buckets just to flush their toilets back at their homes. Mud and debris are everywhere in Biltmore Village, like we just showed you, where cell service continues to be hard to come by. Kristen Sears is a longtime resident. She says the downtown district is unique, and even amidst all the destruction, it's actually easy to identify what bar or restaurant certain debris belongs to.
Now there's wreckage all over the river. You can identify which brewery, which shop, which winery, plebe. You can tell as you look at the wreckage.
And we also know that there are about 15,000 technicians from several states, even parts of Canada, out here trying to get power back on as quickly as possible. Chris, it's going to be several weeks before that happens.
Those poor people, and they definitely need the help right now. Brett, before you go, is there anything that you saw in person that just really shocked you to see it up close when you arrived?
Yeah, as we drove in, it was wild to see the amount of trees. I mean, we've covered storms, in our careers over and over again. And to see this many trees, though, that are toppled over from what was, Tropical Storm Helene as it moved through this area, that was incredible. And then as we came into town here this morning to set up this live shot, it was freaky to see the amount of power outages in this area, just to see the amount of buildings without power, no stoplights. I've seen power outages in my career as well. This takes it to another level at this point, Chris.
Goodness, that almost looks post-apocalyptic when you see those images. Thank you, Brett.
People across North Carolina are stepping up to help those in the western part of the state. Today, Wake County churches will deliver pallets of water to people who need it. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from Apex Baptist Church. And Laura, help from that particular church already on the way to western North Carolina.
Renee, good morning. Yes, volunteers here with Apex Baptist Church. They loaded up about 3 trucks of supplies, specifically water, cases just like this, to head out to western North Carolina. We know this is such a dire need in the hardest hit areas. Take a look at this video. You can see them gathering as they take those water bottles and cases and load up trailers, about 3 again, to head out to that area. The lead pastor here tells me he felt called upon yesterday during his sermon to ask for water donations, and before the service even ended, they became overwhelmed with support. In a briefing Sunday, officials said hundreds of thousands of residents may not have access to water for weeks in western North Carolina due to major infrastructure damage to water plants out there. The lead pastor, Zeb Cook, who is from Florida, he tells me he knows firsthand what these residents could be facing.
When you don't have access to clean drinking water, man, you really begin to panic. You begin to think, okay, what are we going to do? And there's so many families, they have no way to get out of where they are. So the need for clean drinking water and then not having the ability to get to any type of water is so tragic.
So this morning they plan to head to a distribution site in Hendersonville, and then they're going to partner with NC Baptist on a mission to identify other locations that they could drop off some of these supplies. On Thursday is when they plan to send the next load up there. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Apex.